What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. Imagine you're cruising at 40,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean. Below you, nothing but endless blue water stretching for thousands of miles. You've just kicked back, maybe cracked open a book, or started daydreaming about that in-flight meal. Everything feels routine, safe. Then a flight attendant appears beside you, her voice eerily calm for what she's about to say. There's a slight crack in the windshield. We need to turn around. Wait, a crack? In the windshield? At 40,000 feet? Before your brain can fully process that terrifying thought, she adds, the captain wants everyone strapped in and ready for oxygen masks. Suddenly your heart's pounding. Oxygen masks, real danger, that endless ocean below, and time seems to move in slow motion while your pulse races faster and faster. This isn't some Hollywood thriller. This actually happened to Oprah Winfrey. A moment of raw, pure terror, when everything you thought was solid suddenly starts cracking apart. What can you possibly hold on to? What can you trust when certainty itself crumbles? That question, what do you know for sure, sits at the very heart of the book we're diving into today. A film critic first asked Oprah this years ago, and it stopped her cold. She couldn't answer it then. But over the next 16 years, she made finding those answers her mission, exploring the question monthly in her O Magazine column. This book is what she discovered along the way. It's not your typical memoir. It's something more intimate, more valuable. Think of it as a collection of hard-won truths, a personal guidebook written through struggle, heartbreak, and incredible triumph. These are life's essential lessons from a woman who reached the absolute top, but never stopped searching for meaning in the quiet moments. By the time we're done here today, you'll have discovered the simple but powerful truths that took Oprah decades to uncover. These aren't just feel-good quotes for your Instagram feed. They're battle-tested principles for navigating life with grace, courage, and a deep sense of your own worth. They're the anchors you can grab onto when your own life's windshield starts to crack. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's explore what one of the wisest voices of our time knows for sure. To really grasp the wisdom in this book, we need to start at the very beginning. Not when Oprah became famous, but when she entered this world with very little certainty at all. She was born in rural Mississippi, the result of a single encounter that wasn't a love story. Her arrival wasn't celebrated. It was marked by secrecy and shame. From her earliest memories, she felt profoundly alone. Not physically alone. There were always people around, but carrying a deep internal knowing that her survival depended entirely on her. She would have to take care of herself. This feeling grew heavier through years of sexual abuse that began when she was just a child. That trauma carved a deep wound, a feeling of unworthiness she'd carry for decades. It became her darkest secret, a source of constant fear and shame. She was terrified that if anyone discovered the truth, they'd cast her out completely. This is the foundation we need to understand. The wisdom in this book wasn't born in a TV studio or a mansion. It was forged in the fire of a difficult childhood. And the first, perhaps most crucial thing she knows for sure is this. Healing your past wounds is your responsibility, and yours alone. For years she carried the shame of her abuse and a secret teenage pregnancy that ended with losing her baby. She believed that if people knew, she'd be rejected forever. Then one day, a family member sold her story to the tabloids. Her deepest secret, exposed to the entire world. She was devastated, betrayed. She hid in her room crying for days, expecting everyone to point fingers and shame her. But something unexpected happened. Nothing. Strangers didn't stare. Friends didn't abandon her. The world kept turning. And in that surprising silence, she had a life-changing realization. The secret itself was never the real burden. The shame she'd attached to it was. Holding on to that shame was like carrying a mountain on her back, and when the secret finally came out, the mountain simply crumbled. For the first time, she was free. This is a powerful lesson for all of us. We all carry things in our past we might feel ashamed of, mistakes we've made, wounds others inflicted on us. Oprah's journey teaches us that you can't wait for someone else to heal you or give you permission to be happy. You have to be brave enough to give yourself the love you might not have received. As she puts it, there's one unshakable law of the universe. We are each responsible for our own life. If you're waiting for someone else to make you happy, you're wasting precious time. The power to heal, to grow, to move forward has always been in your hands. Once you take responsibility for your own healing, something wonderful becomes possible: joy. For Oprah, joy isn't something that just happens to you like rain falling from the sky. It's an active choice, a conscious decision to, quote, feast on your life, as poet Derek Walcott wrote. And one of her best stories about this choice involves the legendary Tina Turner. The first time Tina Turner came on her show, Oprah was so mesmerized she dreamed of being one of her backup dancers. Years later, that dream actually came true. For one night in Los Angeles, for 5 minutes and 27 seconds, she got to dance on stage with Tina. She remembers being absolutely terrified, her knees shaking, her mind frantically trying to remember the choreography: step, step, turn, kick. She was so focused on not messing up, so self-conscious, that she was completely missing the experience. Then a thought hit her: this is going to be over soon, girl. And if I don't loosen up, I'm going to miss all the fun. In that instant, she made a choice. She threw her head back, forgot about the steps, and just danced. She let go of worrying about looking foolish, and embraced the pure, exhilarating joy of the moment. Later, her mentor Maya Angelou sent her a CD with a line that would become her life mantra: when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. This story is a perfect metaphor for life itself. Every single day we face that choice. We can either stand by the wall, hiding in the shadows of fear and self-doubt, worried about what others think, or we can step onto the dance floor of our own lives and really live. And this isn't just about once-in-a-lifetime moments. Oprah talks about creating what she calls 5-star pleasures and moments every single day. For her, a 5-star pleasure might be as simple as waking up and being able to walk to the bathroom, something many people can't do. Or walking through the woods with her dogs running free. A 4-star pleasure? A strong cup of coffee with the perfect creamer. The point is consciously tuning into the small delights that surround us constantly. We get so wrapped up in our to-do lists and worries that we forget to actually enjoy ourselves. We live in a fog, driving home from work without remembering the journey. But what Oprah knows for sure is that pleasure is energy reciprocated. What you put out comes back. When you actively look for things to be grateful for, you start finding them everywhere. This brings us to one of her most powerful tools, the practice of gratitude. For an entire decade, without fail, she kept a gratitude journal, writing down 5 things she was grateful for every single day. Then, as life got busier and more overwhelming, the ritual gradually faded away. Years later, she noticed something troubling. Even though she'd accumulated more wealth, more possessions, more success, her happiness hadn't grown with it. She'd become one of those people too busy doing to have time for delighting. Looking back at an old journal entry from 1996, she found a list of simple joys: a run on a breezy day, eating cold melon in the sun, a hilarious chat with her best friend Gail. It was a wake-up call. She realized that in 1996, she was just as busy, but she'd made gratitude a priority. She moved through her day, actively looking for things to appreciate, and they always appeared. She shares a profoundly moving story about being on the phone with Maya Angelou, crying uncontrollably over some problem that she can't even remember today. Right in the middle of her sobbing, Maya's voice cut through sharp and clear. "Stop it. Stop it right now and say thank you." Oprah was confused. "Thank you? For what?" Maya explained, "You're saying thank you because your faith is so strong that you don't doubt that whatever the problem is, you'll get through it. You're saying thank you because you know that even in the eye of the storm, God has put a rainbow in the clouds." That moment changed her perspective forever. Gratitude isn't just for the good times. It's a tool for the hard times. When you feel least thankful is exactly when you most need what gratitude can give you: perspective. It shifts your energy from negative to positive. And as she wisely puts it, what you focus on expands. When you focus on the goodness in your life, you create more of it. This practice of finding the good extends to one of the toughest areas for so many people: their relationship with their own body. For decades, Oprah battled herself, caught in an exhausting cycle of dieting, gaining weight, and feeling ashamed. She saw her body only through the lens of numbers on a scale. Then, after experiencing unexplained heart palpitations, she had another awakening. She started thanking her heart for every single beat, marveling at the miracle of a body that had worked so tirelessly for her despite years of neglect. One evening, stepping out of the tub, she looked in the mirror and for the first time didn't launch into her usual self-criticism. Instead, she felt a wave of gratitude. For her strong shoulders, her bright eyes, the body she lived in. In that moment, she made a vow to love what she's got. This is the body she's been given. The journey isn't about fighting against it. It's about making a loving and grateful peace with it. Now, you can't talk about joy and gratitude in Oprah's life without exploring the deep power of connection. At the very core of our being, she says, we all share one universal desire. We want to feel valued. We want to know that we matter. She learned this from thousands of interviews over the years. Whether talking to a mother in Kansas or a cheating husband, the underlying need was always the same: to be heard, to be seen, to be understood. But here's the profound twist she discovered. That feeling of value, of being loved and complete, cannot be found outside yourself. In her 20s, she based her entire self-worth on whether a man would love her. She found herself in toxic, twisted relationships, feeling more like a doormat than a person. She remembers once, in a moment of desperation, throwing a boyfriend's keys down the toilet to keep him from leaving. She was so terrified of being alone because without a man, she thought she was nothing. The great lesson she learned is this: if you're looking for someone else to heal you or silence that voice whispering you're not enough, you'll be searching forever. A lack of intimacy isn't distance from someone else. It's disregard for yourself. You, all by yourself, are a whole person. And if you feel incomplete, you alone must fill those empty spaces with love. This is where true, authentic connection begins. It's not about finding your other half. It's about becoming whole yourself and then sharing that wholeness with others. Her friendship with Gayle King is a perfect example. They met in 1976, two young women at a TV station in Baltimore. Their friendship wasn't love at first sight, but it was built on mutual respect and genuine support. It was cemented one snowy night when Gayle couldn't get home and Oprah invited her to stay over. They stayed up the entire night talking, and they've talked every single day since. Through job losses, heartbreaks, and every imaginable challenge, Gail has been her constant cheerleader, a friend who listens without judgment and shares in her pain and triumphs without a trace of jealousy. Their cross-country road trip in a Chevy Impala is a hilarious testament to their bond. 10 days in a cramped car, disagreeing over music and dealing with driving anxieties could destroy any friendship. But they came out of it laughing, their connection even stronger. It's a beautiful reminder that real friendship isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, being real, and surviving the bumpy roads together. Oprah also shares the deep connection she feels with her dogs. The story of adopting Sadie, the runt of the litter who whispered in her ear at the shelter, and then nursing her through the deadly virus that took her brother, is a powerful lesson in unconditional love. Pets, she says, represent a connection to caring that is pure and reciprocal. But what happens when you have these foundations in place? Resilience, joy, gratitude, connection. Where do you go from there? You step into the world of possibility. This is where the book becomes a roadmap for building a meaningful life. And the first step is confronting your greatest obstacle, fear. Oprah admits that for years she lived imprisoned by fear. Fear that people wouldn't like her. Fear that saying no would lead to rejection. Fear of appearing arrogant. This last one started in 3rd grade, when a teacher praised her book report and she heard classmates whisper, "She thinks she's so smart." That comment lodged itself deep in her psyche, and for decades she tried to downplay her own brilliance, to make herself smaller so others wouldn't feel threatened. She says many of us, especially women, are taught to do this. We apologize for our accomplishments and settle for the passenger seat when we're longing to drive. But what she knows for sure is this: you are built not to shrink down to less, but to blossom into more. The critics in your life will always be there, whether you hide or shine. So stop paying attention to them. The key to overcoming fear is understanding that the thing you fear has no power. It's your fear that has the power. Each time you give in to it, you lose strength, and the fear gains it. True courage means being afraid and then, with your knees knocking, stepping out anyway. She tells a story about a defining moment when she worked at a TV station in Baltimore. She got an offer to host a morning talk show in Chicago. It was a huge risk. Her boss sat her down and told her she was committing career suicide. He used every tactic he could to scare her into staying. More money, a new car, and finally, the threat, "You're going to fail." She didn't know if he was right. She didn't have the confidence to believe she'd succeed. But somewhere deep inside, she found the courage to say, "You're right, I may not make it, but if they don't kill me, at least I'll keep growing." In that moment, she chose herself. She chose growth over safety. That one choice changed the entire trajectory of her life. This leads to another cornerstone of her philosophy: the power of intention. In 1989, she read a passage in a book that transformed her life. It said that every action, thought, and feeling is motivated by an intention, and that intention is a cause that creates an effect. We are responsible for our intentions. This was a revelation. She realized that for years her intention had been to please other people so they'd like her. The unwanted consequence? She felt constantly used and taken advantage of. The problem wasn't other people. It was her own intention. So she made a change. She started asking herself one critical question before any decision. What is my real intention? Is it pure? Is it coming from a place of truth and love, or from fear and neediness? This simple question became a powerful guide. It cured her of what she calls the disease to please. She learned that saying no was okay. She wrote down a promise to herself that now sits on her desk. Never again will I do anything for anyone that I do not feel directly from my heart. When you get clear about who you are and what you stand for, you no longer have anything to prove. You can simply say, "This is who I am." Knowing your intention is what allows you to find your true work in the world. When she was 17, she got a job in radio making $100 a week. And she had a profound realization. She loved it so much, she would have done it for free. That feeling became her compass. She knew for sure that if you can get paid for doing what you love, every paycheck is a bonus. The real adventure isn't climbing the highest mountain. The biggest thrill you can ever achieve is living the life of your dreams. Finally, Oprah brings all these lessons together under the concept of power, but her definition has nothing to do with fame, status, or wealth. She says authentic power occurs when your purpose aligns with your personality to serve the greater good. It's the kind of power that comes from the core of who you are. The secret is alignment. When you know for sure that you're on course and doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, you're at your most powerful. And a huge part of that power is the simple, sacred privilege of choice. She tells the story of Reverend Otis Moss Jr.'s father, a poor sharecropper in Georgia. In his 50s, he finally had the chance to vote for the first time in his life. On election day, he put on his best suit and walked 6 miles to the polls. When he arrived, they told him he was in the wrong place. He walked another 5 or 6 miles to a second location, where he heard the same thing. Finally, after walking more than 18 miles all day, he arrived at the third location, only to be told, "Boy, you're a little late. The polls just closed." He died before the next election, never experiencing the joy of casting his vote. Every time Oprah votes, she does it not just for herself, but for Otis Moss Sr. and countless others who were denied that right. Her message is crystal clear. The right to choose your own path is a sacred privilege. Use it. Dwell in possibility. This book is packed with so many more gems, about finding stillness in a chaotic world, about seeing miracles in the everyday, about decluttering your life both physically and emotionally. But it all circles back to that central question: what do you know for sure? Oprah's journey shows us that the answers aren't found in a book or from a guru. They're found within. They're discovered in quiet moments of reflection, in the courage to face your fears, in the discipline of gratitude, and in the joy of connection. Her life stands as proof that no matter where you start, you have the power to create a life of meaning, purpose, and profound happiness. You just have to be willing to do the work, to listen to that still, small voice inside, and to step boldly onto the dance floor of your own magnificent life. As we wrap up our journey through What I Know for Sure, it's worth pausing to reflect on why this collection of personal essays has resonated with millions of people worldwide. In an age of quick fixes and complicated success formulas, this book offers something refreshingly different: simple, honest, timeless wisdom. The true power of Oprah's message lies in how relatable it is. She doesn't present herself as a perfect guru on a mountaintop, dispensing wisdom from on high. She's a fellow traveler who has stumbled, fallen, and learned to get back up. Her struggles with weight, her feelings of unworthiness, her fear of rejection, these are universal human experiences. By sharing her vulnerability so openly, she gives us permission to be vulnerable too. She reminds us that our imperfections aren't something to hide. They're often the very source of our greatest strength and empathy. The central theme, for me, is the shift from an external life to an internal one. So much of our world teaches us to look outside ourselves for validation, happiness, love, and a sense of worth. We chase titles, possessions, and other people's approval, hoping that one day we'll finally feel enough. Oprah's entire philosophy is a gentle but firm redirection of our gaze. She asks us to turn inward. The answers, she insists, aren't out there. They're in here. Joy isn't something you find, it's something you cultivate. Power isn't something you acquire, it's something you align with. Love isn't something you get, it's something you give, first and foremost, to yourself. This is a profound and life-altering shift in perspective, especially for a young person just starting to build their life. It's a message that says you don't have to wait for the world to tell you you're worthy. You already are. You don't have to wait for perfect circumstances to be happy. You can choose joy right now, in this moment. So how can we start applying this wisdom to our own lives right now? Here are 3 simple, practical actions inspired by the book. 1. Start a What I'm Grateful For list. You don't need anything fancy, just paper or a note on your phone. For the next 7 days, before you go to sleep, write down 3 things from your day that you're genuinely grateful for. It could be as small as the taste of your morning coffee, or a kind word from a stranger. This simple act retrains your brain to look for the good, and as Oprah says, what you focus on expands. 2. Ask, what is my intention? Just once a day for the next week, before you make a decision, whether it's what to say in a difficult conversation, whether to say yes to a request, or even what to post online. Pause and ask yourself that one question. What is my real intention here? Am I acting from a place of love, truth, and self-respect, or from fear, obligation, or a need for approval? This single question can bring incredible clarity to your choices. 3. Schedule an moment. Look at your schedule for tomorrow and carve out just 10 minutes for yourself. 10 minutes where you do something purely for the joy of it, with no other goal. It could be listening to your favorite album without distractions, taking a walk in nature, or simply sitting in silence focusing on your breath. This isn't a luxury. It's essential maintenance for your soul. It's a way of telling yourself that you matter. In the end, What I Know for Sure is more than a book. It's an invitation to live a more conscious, more connected, and more courageous life. It's a reminder that every day, every moment, is a fresh start, a new opportunity to choose who you want to be. The most powerful question isn't what Oprah knows for sure. It's, what do you know for sure? And the journey to answering that is the greatest adventure of all. That was our deep dive into What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. We've explored the highlights today, but here's the truth. A summary can only take you so far. The real magic happens when you hold the book in your hands and let the words speak to you directly. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story or simple phrase lands in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time and attention. If anything we've talked about today has stirred something in you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself and your place in the world. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable and want to continue building your own library of life-changing wisdom, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Here at Billionaire's Bookshelf, we're on a mission to unlock the greatest ideas from the world's most brilliant minds. Let's keep growing together.